choke him out.
So once again, 207 Talk. Just so happens to be fights on again tonight. Didn't plan that, but it is what it is. Here's the co-host back from his trip. How was the trip?
Trip was amazing. I travel. I love it. But this time I went with my family, and it was a blast.
You did send me that breast picture that I've ever seen. Remember that it was
when it's like they say like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but what happened in Florida, I kind of
send it
some
to your
Florida
boy.
back to me.
Yeah, and send it to your boy.
Kinda,
I don't mind. You know, girl had some D's or something. I don't know. It wasn't a bad pic.
She was like 36. She was fine. She was fine. Her parents were millionaires. Lived in mid Florida.
Visit any interesting places?
Went
bars,
to Universal
any
Studios
weird bars?
a couple days ago. You definitely went to a couple different bars.
Couple different kinds.
This is Bar Flamingo. I've always wanted to go to. I've seen it in movies. It's more of an alternative bar, but it's just something I've always wanted to do. My friend who lives down there in Clearwater took me, and it was actually amazing. Had a blast.
Fuck yeah!
Drag queens pulled me on stage.
Oh, it was an accident, I bet.
Yeah.
That happens.
Accidental, but
that
then he
actually
stole
happens
the show.
a lot, though. In the past.
How often do drag queens pull you on stage?
Me personally, I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed
Every
to say
Sunday.
that. Every Sunday.
So
Any given Sunday.
So speaking of drag queens, I used to work at the local university, and one of the gentlemen who served food there was a very handsome drag queen. And it happened to be Halloween one year that I was working there, and he was dressed in drag, and he was bent over picking something up off the ground, and this giant football player from the university comes over and is like, "Hey babe, nice ass." This guy with a thicker 5 o'clock shadow than this guy here turns around and is like, "Thanks!" This guy turned and ran as fast as I think this guy's ever.
No, but I had a friend growing up who had a little brother that became younger sister now, and dude could still fool me. That's a good looking whatever.
It's transsexual.
But pulls it off well. There are some that you go, I mean, you got to shave at least, every other day, if you want to pull that off, or foundation or whatever. But yeah, this one pulls it off. I mean, you wouldn't know. It's one of those ones where I said I already know, but
Oh, we always know.
Yeah.
Should have known when we were kids growing up and how much of a crush this person had on
Yeah.
you, dude.
Yeah.
They loved you.
I know. I was a little boy. I just thought he was a strange, I just thought he was a feminine young kid. That's all it was, whatever. And then turned out to be a beautiful young lady. Put it that way.
Agreed.
Agreed. Wish can't share pictures, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, and if you don't know,
now you know.
Now you know. So that's the way it goes.
Good job, not dropping that word. I didn't know if he's gonna slip. I was gonna catch him, but good job. Thanks.
So here we are, episode 2.
No plan.
We
no
made
script.
it. We made it. Thanks to everybody who watched episode 1. I know MMA isn't everybody's cup of tea. That just is the way things rolled. We kind of talked about rolling some ideas around today, but you never know what's going to happen on 207 Talk. Yeah. That's part of the reason to watch it.
That's the truth. It's unscripted, as you could say, and we had a few viewers suggest certain topics, and one of them was like not extraterrestrial, like strange things, kind of ghost type stuff. But you ever just had anything weird happen to you? You ever been walking, or you ever been or like missing time, anything weird like that? You guys ever had anything weird? Because I'm trying to think, and I don't know. Like as a kid, and if you think of ghost stories, like I don't know, man.
Well, there was a point in time in my life where ghost hunting was an actual activity in which I partook in. We had a Facebook page, we had a crew. There was like 4 of us. We had legit materials.
Show, but they were better than the guys on that TV.
We had legit materials. We bought stuff. We used stuff. We recorded stuff. We sought for information. And I mean. You're the one that asked it. Why don't you start?
I don't know. See, I've like this memory I always thought as a kid where like weird shit would happen in the old place that I used to live. But then I think some of it, in looking back with memories, you always add stuff or forget stuff over a while. So I don't know. But sometimes on this island when I'm walking home, I think I'll see. I don't know what it is. There was something weird. And the weird thing is, you would think when you walk up on a street light it turns on. These ones turn off as you come up on them. So it's like a weird feeling. But I can't, off the top of my head, I don't have any.
I can remember back in the day, like middle school, even high school, Bigfoot hunting. We used to go Bigfoot hunting. Me and my friend.
Dude,
Eddie,
I was on a
and
Bigfoot tear on
we all
YouTube
know
forever.
Eddie,
I was
but-
trying to get people, like, I don't know, you know, because you always hope. I always hope there's something out there. I mean, come on, it's gotta be something.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I was watching the Elon Musk Falcon head where he sent that Tesla into space, and they were showing the cameras on that. But that's that thing. I don't know how long the batteries are gonna last, but that's supposed to go to.
You heard that
to
story?
Mars.
You heard that story that they said that it was somebody he killed?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he had somebody killed and like
And,
put it in that Tesla car or whatever,
Hey,
shot it up into space.
I'm sorry, CSI. You ain't getting to that crime scene up there and investigating shit.
But yeah, man. I mean, everybody
Nowhere near there.
everybody likes to think there's ghosts and shit, right? I mean,
See, and right now we're actually on a Native American reservation, so I feel like those are ghosts you least want to fuck with, at least from every movie I've ever seen. But yeah, sometimes it like just you walk on the res alone, and it's got one of the oldest graveyards. I don't know if it's got one of the oldest graveyards that there is though. This whole place was, from what I've heard from the locals, originally all a burial ground, which they ended up, inhabiting. So there's a lot of strange stories from people on this reservation. But where we're in a newer building, since I've been here, she thinks it's haunted and there's weird stuff going on.
I've got a good graveyard story though. Where I live in Elton, it used to be called the town of Gary, and I live on Gary Lane, whatever. But anyways, if it's like 15-minute walk into the woods, if you were to drive to where the road stops and you walk in, there's an old cemetery up there that there's at least like 6 or 7 stones left, and I've gone there at least once a year
really
since
warm?
I was a little kid. You can barely see them, and we used to take like pieces of thin paper and crayons just to like see what it said. And,
Yeah. Oh, so
Mr.
they're
King
like
taught me that in
17.
7th grade actually.
Yeah, that's like the
But
1700s.
when we went back last summer, it was like 1 a.m. I had a few friends up from actually New Hampshire, and we were wasted as fuck. Like, I mean, completely wasted. And we just went out just with our cell phones, and there's like a whole like big huge fireplace, and they have like these it's almost like the Blair Witch Project. There's like these weird things hanging from the trees everywhere, and yeah, it was kind of freaky at that moment, but I was interested. My friends were freaked out on the way back.
I
My
always
friend
hope, man.
shit his
I want to
pants.
see something.
Literally shit his
pants. So I've heard of that.
We were back in high school. Like the earliest I can ever remember really having any connection with anything like that was me and my group of friends. We all grew up in the same area, a housing development in the area. We were all hanging out at the high school before classes began, and one of our buddies showed up, and he looked like a bag of smashed assholes. And we were like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? And he's like, man, I haven't slept in days. He's like, there's some shit going on in my house, and he's like, and I don't know what it is, but I gotta figure it out. We're like, this kid, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Like, is he doing drugs?
He's being a pussy, you know what I mean? So we hooked him up with an audio recorder, and we set it up in his mom's bedroom. And we took off for the day, came back, hit this audio recorder up, and it's like 4 hours of dead silence. And then finally you hear da-doom. It's like, what? Da-doom. It's like the sound of a ball bouncing off the wall and being caught. And then you hear this little and it's like this little giggle. And it's like, huh. Well, I mean, we do live in a housing development, so maybe it's like the neighbor that you can just hear over next door or whatever. We didn't think anything of it.
You're trying to think any valid
until this really deep voice that didn't say anything in particular, just and then it was nothing. That was it. It was like 5 minutes of audio for 8 hours worth of recording.
That's still pretty.
Think of how many deaths maybe happened in that house previous.
We were like, we gotta dig deeper. So we grabbed another audio recorder, a video camera, and like 5 of our friends. And we decided to shut everything off in this house, every light, everything. The only light in the house that was on was the fish tank. Like, we go down to the basement, and we're doing the right thing, like, trying to do it by the book. Like, is there anybody here? What do you want? Blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the kids in the crew gets the bright idea to start poking the bear, so to speak, and is like, Jesus Christ, it's good. And next thing you know, we just all get this urge to haul ass out of this basement. So we haul ass out of the basement. We're in the living room. We're standing next to the fish tank. I'm holding the video camera. Like, holy shit, what's going on? Fish tank light goes off. So we're like, what the hell's going on? We look over. The fish tank's been unplugged. And the only way to do that is to reach up and over it and around it and unplug it from the wall. So we're 100% freaked out. We bolt out the front door. The camera's facing the stairs going up into the house, and the bathroom's on the next landing. And you see a set of pigtails and the silhouette of a dress. And it's like,
Really?
all right. So then you keep watching, and then you just see this, I don't know, 6 foot plus figure standing over this childlike figure.
Where could I find
That
this
was a
magnificent video?
solid black. Oh, we trashed that video. Dude, we watched it. It didn't matter how many times we'd watch it. Me and my buddy, my boy Will, he had the video. And we would watch it, and we would get super uncomfortable about it. So he got rid of it in the best way possible. So he knows the way that he got rid of it. Nobody else really does. But it was one of those things where we watched it. Something was there. We weren't sure what the hell it was, but it scared the shit out of us every time we saw it. So we didn't want to see it.
What about? I actually got a story. This was years ago, but I was working night shift at this bakery that runs 24 hours a day. And one of the guys coming in was like, "Man, hey, just see." I don't know what was going on. He pulled me over. I'll tell you guys who it was later. But he's like, "Dude, it was weird. I was pulling off the bridge to the reservation, and I'm looking up above the trees, and there's something floating there." He's like, "I'm not even kidding you." He's like, "It was weird, and it was like floating above the trees, and I was watching it the whole time." And I don't remember the exact story, but this kid was generally like by his face and pale. He's like, it freaked him. Whatever it was, he hadn't seen it before, so. I don't know. I hope, you know what I mean? I'd love to hear that Bigfoot, somebody, an actual real, if that was real, like, come on.
Have you guys heard about, where Fort Knox is?
Yeah.
And stuff, about
the grave?
The witch's foot?
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind that?
That's on,
when I tried to describe to my friends, even from, here in Maine or southern Maine.
Didn't they change the stone that came back, too?
Yeah, they've changed the stone
times.
multiple times. They've sandblasted the stone.
And it
so
keeps coming back.
The story is that this mayor or governor of one of the towns local to us.
He was the mayor of the town.
He was the mayor.
I'm pretty sure.
He was cheating on his wife with this woman locally, and she threatened to expose him or something along those lines, and he had her burned.
Yeah.
For being a witch.
Yeah.
And
burned. The last thing that came out of the burning of her body was her foot.
A foot. That's the legend, anyways. And somehow this stone that's been replaced multiple times throughout the last 100 years or so, 200 years, 200 plus years, there always ends up being an image of a foot engraved or marked on this stone.
It almost looks like it's part of the marble because they come and try to. I've heard.
But they've sandblasted it. They've wiped it out. They've moved chemicals. The stone. It's still there. So I mean, weird shit happens. There's got to be a reason for it. There's got to be.
That's 207. That's Maine. You know what I mean? That's just one thing. You know what I mean? I know it's definitely a popular thing. There's another. I mean, obviously it's the Allagash. That's the big. You ever heard the Allagash? The UFO sightings and the UFO abductions.
One of the most famous ones from Maine, them guys in the canoe. You ever heard about that? They were in. We were talking about this. It's somewhere. It was in Maine. I'm almost positive.
It's one of the Allagash.
Yeah. And so they're out. I don't know. They're camping, or whatever. They're out on a boat. It's 3 or 4 of them, right? And I don't know. But we could pull the story up, or whatever. But they see this light, and I guess one of the guys in the boat shines a light at it, and then I don't know. I guess they thought they're out there for 10 minutes, but after the light, they see a light come back at them, and they end up coming back and realizing however many hours had gone by, and they thought they just canoed out to look at it and canoe right back, and they don't remember any of the time. They don't know what happened. That's one of the more famous ones. Something to look into. But that's
I told you about what happened to my aunt. She owns
that's a good. That was a good one.
She literally. My aunt would never lie about anything. She owns a multi-million-dollar campground. They're very good people. And she tells me this story. This happened about 12 years ago. They're driving down the interstate, probably 40 to 50 miles off from where the Allagash was at this point, from our area in here in Old Town, heading north up to their campground. And it's kind of in the middle there, past Millinocket a little bit, I think, or before. And all of a sudden, the car just shuts off completely in this big, huge light. The car shuts off completely. Big light comes from above, and there's no radio, there's nothing, but they're still going the exact same speed that they originally were going at. and all of a
There's
sudden,
been other stories I've
all
read
of a sudden,
with
like
similar.
they don't like the time wise, like they feel like they lost like 15, 20 minutes like that, and
Dude,
there was 3 people in this car.
It could be concussions, but GSP. That's what I don't know if you're gonna. But GSP thinks that him and a few other fighters on the way back, that same thing happened. They're missing all this time, and like it was actually on one of the podcasts I watched, the Joe Rogan Experience. They were talking about it, but yeah, he genuinely believes something. He believes something happened.
Well, I mean, if you're talking aliens or whatever, look it up on YouTube. The late Art Bell, syndicated Florida radio talk show host who just passed away this last week, I believe.
Really?
There's a video on YouTube of him looking to talk to people who claim to have information about Area 51.
Dude, that caller. I
And
know
this
what you're talking.
guy, this
Very
guy
famous.
calls, search it on YouTube, Area 51
Good
caller.
too. Good. It really is.
And this guy calls, and he is the most panicked, frantic man that you've ever heard in your entire life.
Crying.
He's crying. He's claiming to be a former. He's claiming to be a former employee of Area 51, and that he either has been fired or he quit, and now they're searching for him. On the radio, he claims that he's going to be having his position triangulated, that he has information claiming that the beings that we have contact with, we've had contact with for a long time. We know way more information than we're letting on.
The Canadian Prime Minister said that.
He's claiming that there's a lot of safe... there's a direct quote from the video or the footage that is, there's a lot of safe areas in the world that they could be moving people to. And he's basically claiming that we know about what aliens can do, but we're going to use them as population control almost. Like, when the shit hits the fan, we have places we could move people, but we're not going to.
That's what I was gonna, like, the video where I'm not even gonna cut you off, just the prime ministers in Canada against their, like, whatever their legislation is, and he's saying same thing you're saying about the, the technology, like that the U.S. has made contact with aliens, that we this and that, and this is the guy at the highest position.
Roswell, I mean, that was in, what, the 50s? I mean, like,
this video ends with this caller being like, they're going to find me, I don't have any time, they're already on to me. And then the video goes silent, and it's about 10 seconds of dead air, and then the radio show host comes back on, and he goes, we're running on a backup generator right now. He's like, the entire studio has lost all power.
Never happened before.
He's like, we don't have any radio. He's like, we're running on backup power. He's like, this guy is gone. He's like, we didn't get his name. We didn't get anything. What the hell? There's another video of the Area 51 pilot. Search it up. This guy basically is Area 51. The whole area is a no-fly zone. You'll see this pilot, and he basically flies directly into a hangar and disappears. There's no explosion, there's no smoke, there's no flames, there's no nothing. He just drives into this. There's a huge glowing light that this plane flies into, and it's gone.
Wait, so it's it goes past the Area 51 range of no flying.
Right.
But then it goes down to crash into something?
Basically.
Like kamikaze, the
Basically.
Okay.
If it's video I'm thinking of,
I worry nowadays with CGI on what's what.
No, this video is very old. Very old. It's like outside night vision camera, like recorded off some kind of tower in Area 51.
I just saw it was on CNN today about about our Air Force having a UFO something where they were chasing. They like went on record. It was CNN. They were talking about it. They couldn't tell what it was, but whatever they were chasing was fast and was doing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think with I don't know much about space and whatever, but a little bit of Neil deGrasse Tyson I've watched.
I do.
It's insane. It's insane.
If I could be like, an astrophysicist, I would go back to school. I would
stay away from NASA. Go with Elon. You gotta go to SpaceX. He's getting shit done. Elon's getting stuff done, dude. He'll just send his car up there, like,
unless you want to end up in the trunk of that car in outer space.
Well,
but
all you gotta do is you just gotta show up on time.
Which this guy can't do at our job apparently.
No, but one time I showed up on time, so.
We work together.
Depending on which way you look at it, that's a
good spot. If you ever come to Maine,
if you ever come to Maine, there's like 5 or 6 locations.
6 more locations.
We got this chef right here. He can run. I'm telling you. I've seen him like 40 burgers on the grill, steak and cheese on the other. Dump it, like, he's a monster. So
I would say shout out to my mother
Governors.
being one of the longest running employees at all the governors in the state.
Governor, if you see this and you want to sponsor whatever that means, you know what I mean? Maybe a stool in the basement I brought up one time, but we'll,
We asked for
we're
some
gonna do our
stools.
budget.
He said no. He told us to buy our own.
Yeah, which we can, but
Not the owner, just
but-
some guy who works there.
yeah, but I mean, if governors
Jason,
had some
looking
governor
at you, bro.
stickers,
Hey, they do.
well, let's get some governor stickers.
I can make that happen.
See, I work with this guy. He never said we got stickers. You don't think I would have stickers everywhere?
It used to be like bumper stickers, but
Like
I mean, it was until I cut it down to fit a lighter. Because my lighter said chill out, and that was pretty lame. I didn't like that.
No.
So I customized
And
it.
he's the governor, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
We were talking earlier about like population control due to like that alien scenario or invasion. You know what I mean? Like, remember you were talking earlier about? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying like just that just reminds me of a movie. One of my favorite movies. I think it's one of all our favorite movies because of our age. Home Alone. I just remember in that movie, like they're saying there's 6 million people in the city, and talking about New York City, and that's the mom of Macaulay Culkin's character. And now it's 8+ million. And if you kind of go with that and go with the world population is about to hit 8 million itself.
8
And-
billion.
I mean billion.
Billion.
Yes. And then I'm saying back in the 90s, it was almost this exact same thing. It was like around 6.5 ish, if my math.
That
is
shit's
correct.
crazy. That's like back to the Elon Musk thing. They're letting this guy drill under LA. So basically, the plan, like, just because it's him, anybody else, you want to drill some tunnels under LA? No, only this guy could get that. But he basically what it's gonna be, you're gonna be able to get across the state. So it's gonna be like an underground. You would think of like a subway, but basically you park your car on a sled and it's magnets and it shoots. It's like 200 miles an hour or more, and you're all strapped in, whatever. You can do whatever you want. You're just on a sled, and it will shoot you from San Fran to wherever the hell you're going. And he's already he's already got it set up. Like that guy gets things done, dude. He's one of the richest people on earth, and he's sleeping on the floor in his factory just to make
Is he like
sure.
the fourth richest person.
He's
in the
amazing,
world?
dude.
I think this guy's working for Elon Musk or something. I don't know.
All I'm gonna
Mr.
say
Musk,
is Tesla.
send us some dough, bro.
I'd like to review a Tesla.
We'll put a nice Tesla poster up here to replace
We
the
will.
greatest fighter of all time, Anderson Silva.
We will. So
Tesla himself, though, he was a genius.
you talking about original
I mean,
Tesla?
Original
Tesla. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he-
Do you
I
know
mean-
that when he died, the government went to his hotel and took every fucking paper he had?
You know
They
that
took all his
his
shit.
whole death is a conspiracy itself. You know what I mean, like in the death ray. You hear about the death ray?
Yeah, he was setting that up. He has that building.
That was what he
somewhere.
was doing right before he died. And I've watched a couple documentaries, Netflix, online.
What about that one about H.H. Holmes? It's I think Leo DiCaprio was supposed to be playing him, and about America's first serial killer, H.H. Holmes, that made that
Yes,
Murder Castle.
yes.
And that sounds amazing.
That-
No,
that
in
does shit.
Chicago during the Chicago World's Fair, and there's actually an interesting conspiracy that H.H. Holmes is actually Jack the Ripper, and that Jack the Ripper,
that's what I was gonna
like,
get.
when he disappeared, and all of a sudden all the murder stopped. Oh, all of a sudden H.H. Holmes is.
Well, yeah, and
popping up in the
his
US.
real name was like
That makes
Herman
sense.
Mudgett or something. But yeah, he once that came here, and then it was like the same kind of weird. So I don't know. That Jack the Ripper story fascinates me too. Like that shit's just crazy. But I guess back then, like the on how to catch somebody, dude, they could fingerprint the windows like this back then. You know what I mean? You could like leave your blood there and shit. They couldn't do nothing. They had to like you had to like drop your name on the floor to get caught. I feel like you literally had to be like like sign something before you left, like I killed their
There's
waiver or
a
whatever.
really good movie about Jack the Ripper with Johnny Depp actually plays in it, and it's called In Hell.
From hell.
From Hell. There we go. And I think it's from like the early '90s, early 2000s, late '90s, early 2000s, in that era. I don't know. That's a good movie, I think, for like. Because nobody knows exactly who Jack the Ripper was.
It does a lot of things. Same with that dude DB Cooper that hijacked that plane and jumped. They still don't know a lot about that. So there are people that have gotten away. I feel bad. They caught Whitey Bulger when he was fucking 80 and had Alzheimer's and doesn't even remember what he did anyway. So, but that movie, have you seen Black Mass? Oh, I was gonna bring up the Ex Machina or Machina. How do you say it?
Ex
Machina.
It's
Machina.
Machina. It's Machina.
Ex Machina.
Okay, if you haven't seen that movie, it's very good. Have you seen it? You seen it?
Oh yeah.
You seen it?
Everyone that told me.
Oh yeah, because Joe Rogan recommended it. I'm a Joe Rogan dick rider, so
I've seen it like 3 times actually.
love that guy, dude. I mean, come on. But yeah, no, that movie in the ending, which of course won't spoil, but I was like complete opposite of what you thought was going to happen. So that's what I really liked. But a lot of the world, Stephen Hawking recently died, which is sad. But a lot of them, Elon Musk, all of them, about the artificial intelligence and how fast. Yeah, like what was that computer, Simon? I don't know if you might know, but they had some kind of AI started up, and then they started talking to each other in their own language, and then you had Deep Blue, who beat that world chess grandmaster,
Right.
and then they shut that down. But that's just right now. Think about how fast, like it's every other month there's a Core i15 processor coming out. There's a PlayStation 19, and you're like, dude, I still got the 4. Like, come on, man. Like,
In case you're not familiar with the film that he referenced, it's about robots or computers becoming self-aware.
Basically this it's a
Billionaire
quick
genius.
this billionaire has this, he's building them. He invites this super genius young kid out of college who thinks he's going to whatever. It ends up being out in the middle of the woods, and he kind of it's really good. I had a crush on the robot.
He has to administer the Turing test,
I agree.
which is
I agree.
which is the
Robots.
ability to test how what
robots.
self-aware a computer or a robot is.
It's really good. It goes deep. It's definitely one worth.
Definitely makes you think about like what's gonna happen in the next 10, maybe 15, 20 years.
It's coming, man.
And then
It's coming.
I mean, I could run off that for
And
hours. I mean, what's gonna happen in the
The
next
whole
20, 30
I feel
years,
like
but-
the augmented virtual reality, all that stuff, when it gets better, is just gonna start. I don't know.
Well, there's that new Spielberg movie. Speaking of augmented or virtual reality, the Ready Player One, based off the book.
How is
amazing
that?
movie. Amazing
Good?
movie. I
you seen
I
it?
encourage you
Have
all
you seen
to
it?
watch
Yeah.
that. I've watched it twice.
Have you
I
seen it?
encourage you all to
No?
watch it.
Me
It's-
neither.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Any gamer, any movie buff, any one that's like really, even a kids that are into cartoons, because there's a lot of CGI. It's mostly CGI actually. You'd love that movie. I give it an A.
Yeah?
Definitely A.
Oh,
Definitely an A.
Yeah.
Now, did you read the book?
No, I
Compare
did
between
not.
the two? Okay.
Did you read both?
I read the book, but I haven't seen the movie, so I'd be curious.
But
to
are you
see
the one?
how faithful
Are the books always better than the movie,
Not.
or does it
I
depend?
mean, in general, I think
Usually.
that books are usually better.
But once
than
in a while,
movie.
the movie
Once in a
hits it
while,
off.
There are examples certainly out there where the
Because
movie,
see, I feel like
faces the book.
if I read a book and then they made a movie and I already had the thoughts, those
They
characters
do,
in my
man.
head,
The books you read are Playboys. They make porno, bro.
and you're telling me this now after we
The
just had to
internet-
peel this
the
blanket off this
The
bed like
internet's
there
a
was
beautiful
super glue
place,
on
man.
it.
The only magazines you're reading are fucking 25-cent comic books and Playboys,
Dude,
bro. They
I
have
know.
that shit right online. You can watch it all. You can look it all up.
I've asked him 3 times where. How do you do it?
Pornhub's a beautiful place,
Yeah.
man.
So you go to Google and you type this in.
You share it on your Facebook page too, man, so you don't forget the link. That's what you got to do. You got to share it on
Well,
Facebook.
I'm saying.
So if you're watching like Anal Punches of Fire 6, share it to your Facebook so that you can get back to that video again later.
The best way
Write
is
that
go to-
name down,
Go to
but what I'm saying-
Bing.com and just go to videos and whatever video you're into. That's the best way to do
Brazilian
it.
fart
Insane.
porn, probably.
I just want a fistful of man meat, and fucking.
That's why he's sitting in the middle. He's going skiing.
Yeah,
I told him he was the
we're
bitch
going,
earlier.
and they even turn with me when we're doing shit like, you know what I mean? We can just fucking, or like skiing downhill, so we can cut snow. We can cut that snow.
I mean, it is April here in Maine, and there's probably snow kicking around somewhere. I mean, it's
It's
been
there.
like 30 degrees for the last fucking week.
Which to us, I mean, we basically got shorts tight enough where our nuts are hanging out by then because we.
No, when I
we're
got off
used to
that
it.
plane, dude, I was just like, I was burnt everywhere. I mean, it doesn't look like it now, but if you could see me in person,
You're
I'm
Irish
pretty-
though. You got a lot
I'm
of
pretty
Irish.
red.
So-
I'm pink, actually. I wouldn't even say red or tan, but when I got off that plane, it was just like a burst of just cold air the moment I stepped outside of Bangor Airport.
You're like, you're back home.
It was like, yeah,
Back
my
home.
depression
Welcome to the Arctic,
kind
bro.
of rose a little bit there.
Here in Maine, we have 4 seasons: pothole season, winter, second winter, and like 10 seconds of fall.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you
It's
do
mud season.
and you do fall a lot also, not just in fall, but you.
Well,
do,
luckily we don't have microclimates here. Like, I mean, I spent a few months in Costa Rica, and they have like some of the most. They have like 8 microclimates.
You went to Europe, right, Simon?
Few places that in the world.
I did. I went to
That's my
Wales
next
for
trip.
my sister's wedding, so spent some time in and around the Cardiff area, the Brecon Beacons, and a little bit of time in London.
What fascinates me about that, like Europe, is how much old, like we have old stuff here, but when you go there, like I would imagine churches and certain buildings that are actually old. You know what I mean? That have been
Well, that's
there.
where
like,
it
you
all
would-
be.
that's what I'm
besides-
saying. That's the
where
type of-
like it.
And
I like to
actually,
go
a lot
to
of-
Rome.
A lot of
began.
buildings that we would, look at and say, "Wow, that's an amazing castle," or "That's an amazing ruin." To them, they're not, because they're actually called follies. And I can't remember exactly where, how old something. I think it has to be over 800 years old to actually be considered a real castle. And anything that was built within the last 800 years is considered a folly. Which
A folly. So what is
meaning
that?
Fake. In folie, it's from the French word for fake, essentially.
Oh,
Or-
so a
yeah,
fake.
yeah.
Okay, so the newer
So they're
ones.
saying they're not real castles; they're fake. Yeah, it's
Just
only
'cause then-
750 years old.
Yeah, so I'm just wait a little bit longer, then it'll be
Right.
real.
There are the
It'll be
old
real.
castles, but they're basically like stone. I mean, like you can see the castle, and maybe
We had
picture
that
what
Fort
it was,
Knox, which
but
is cool,
I mean,
man.
it has all the stone. I'm talking about like Ireland, Scotland. Yeah, I mean.
Oh
like,
no, there are
everywhere you
absolutely
go.
real castles there too. I'm
That's my
saying
next
it's a mix of the two.
No, I agree.
But
yeah.
when I went to, oh gosh, I don't even remember, Tenby in Wales,
Yeah.
there were ruins that were from the Normans, right, from the Norman conquests. So those are some of the oldest still standing, ruins that you can look at and actually walk up to. And
That's
touch.
what I want to see, man. I want
And
to see
they're
some
not
of
even
those.
like gated off. Like there are areas, when you go to Rome, you can't even access the Colosseum except for at certain times of the day, right? And they have to open. They have guards and everything.
Oh, yeah.
With these in Cardiff and in London, you can walk right up to these ruins and actually put your hand on them and
See,
experience
yeah,
history
I-
firsthand.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Not what you were expecting. Dare I say neither was I, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, here we are, in my humble editing booth. Shall I relay to you the events as they transpired? Yes. Yes, I believe I shall. Suddenly, and without warning, our beloved host's conversation took a dramatic left-hand turn into the realm of male and female relations. With the conversation deteriorating at an increasingly rapid pace, the boys proceeded to dissect the rather poor relationship between Josh and a female companion. After extensive review, and with the utmost care, the boys ultimately came upon the following conclusion.
Yes, ladies, we know we're a bunch of scumbags. We own it. We'll say it. Fuck scumbag. Scumbag.
You were
So Ben, the new Marvel movie, what do you think?
Yes.
Is that a good transition?
There's a lot of Marvel movies. I haven't seen them all.
I
Infinity
think
Wars.
now would be the perfect time to take a short commercial break and regroup from the scumbags comment to something else.
What a bunch of scumbags. Just
Some
cutting off
awesome
this shit.
sponsors coming up. Last week we were sponsored by Pete's Penis Enlarger Pump. This week we're gonna be sponsored by something else. You'll find out. We'll be right back.
That's enough.
And we are back. This episode was sponsored by Ted's Turtle Wax. It's actually for waxing turtles.
Yeah, don't get weird. That's what it is.
It's for waxing turtles. There's lots of turtles found on the roads here in Maine.
Need to be waxed.
They need to be
You can't-
waxed.
What are you gonna just let them go and
You're
not
just not
wax
gonna
them?
wax
Who the fuck
them.
are you?
I save
So-
those turtles all the time. Before they-
Because
And wax them.
he's got Ted's
And wax them.
He's got Ted's turtle wax.
Yeah.
So, anyways, tonight's episode's been all about the different aspects of Beyond. Aliens, ghosts,
Weird shit.
weird
you
shit
seen.
you'd see. he had mentioned Bigfoot earlier.
Bigfoot hunting.
I mean, he's hunted Bigfoot. I mean, it brings me.
Have you hunted
Eddie,
Bigfoot?
Eddie, you know what I mean.
It brings me to figure out Bigfoot. Okay, so follow me for a minute, if you will. Okay, so there's primates, right? Native to just about every continent in
And there was
on Earth, right? Am I wrong?
You're
There's
correct.
some sort of a primate native to.
Other than Antarctica, but sure.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
So it would lead me to believe that there has to be some sort of primate in North America. This one just happens to live in mountains and caves and uses the surroundings like that.
They have found bones of the Gigantopithecus, which was an ancient monkey humanoid-like thing that
14
did
feet tall.
14 feet tall that did walk on two legs. And they have, several bones and
And
different.
that's only like 10,000 years ago.
That's what I mean.
Which isn't in
And
time.
there
that's
used
not
to
that
be a
much.
Bering Sea land bridge, so Siberia is actually I'm gonna go about Native Americans. We're talking about being on the res, but there's a weird story. It was this guy, what's that religion? Mormon. He was Mormon, and he had a belief. He was very very wealthy guy. Had a belief that Native Americans came originally from Jerusalem, and that had brought over all this stuff, whatever. So he put all this money into DNA researching that. He found out that the natives were from Siberia, and when the Bering Sea land flow, it'd be like from Alaska that would run right over to the Siberia and Russia. That used to be a bridge, which is how a lot of the shit got here. But they were thinking, I don't know, that could be part of it. That was another thing, but
That bridge still freezes over to a point at certain
where animals
times
get
during the
across,
year,
right?
But
It's a long
I guess
stretch,
it'd be a sketchy thing to cross.
Yeah.
And it would be a long stretch.
yeah, it's quite a
The
while.
history of that is still disputed, but
Yeah, they say it's a long time ago, but I know, because I'm wondering how much have they dove, that channel, and have they, what I mean, checked it out. I don't know.
Did you guys ever remember the? It was 2 years ago. Discovery Channel put out that mermaid documentary. Do you guys remember that?
it was a big deal because it
You were
was
right.
it was a documentary, but it was actually
Real?
no, it was
Or-
it was clearly fiction. I mean, it was definitely like they announced
But what
afterwards.
about the mermaids they actually pulled out of the water? The couple they found out of the water, and the ones like the ships, like the sailors and stuff. The ones they said they've caught in their nets and stuff. They're not like people with tails like Ariel, or is that her name? Ariel.
I know what you're
the
talking
Little
about.
Mermaid.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like
the
that.
red
You know
hair.
what I mean? But like they have like you know what I mean like almost like human like appendages. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
guys remember that though?
Yeah, but I think it turned out to be like that.
I
Or that
hope
video.
that might be one.
that
of
was
them.
the one, yeah. That's
There's-
the one I'm
but-
talking about, yeah.
But there was like
But didn't-
Discovery Channel
yeah,
put this
I-
huge 2-hour event out. It was like, and I watched the whole
I don't
thing,
think
and
it's
was like,
real though, dude. I want it to be, but I don't,
Like those
it's
faces and
not.
stuff aren't. No,
No.
I wouldn't
No.
agree with that either.
Well, I remember seeing, because that video with the hand, it was like some people in a submarine, and I'm pretty sure they were affiliated with the Discovery Channel, but they went down, right, and they were doing this research, and then this video actually went viral, but it's been proven to be a fake.
The mermaids, they don't look like they're not really humanoid at the same time, but they're more fish than they are human.
I think there's a lot of shit, especially the ocean that we.
Well,
have
I mean,
found,
we were
but
talking about
I don't
space.
It's
know
the
about-
most undiscovered besides space.
We were
It's the
talking about
most
space earlier.
undiscovered
We know
one.
more about space than we do the ocean.
It's true. It's true.
Exactly.
We know more about
Really-
space than we do the
think
ocean.
we know more about space, but I'm saying like all the astrophysicists.
And I
and
wonder
natural
about
engineers.
Antarctica, how big that is, and how the ice has been melting. They're saying, what the landscape underneath, and that could have been, who knows how long ago, but there could have been we don't know. We don't know what's under that 12, 15, 20 miles of ice that's still, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. So,
This is it, we're
but
breaking
for
off
some
every day.
reason, like lately, the Russians have been doing everything they can to get. They just recently built I don't know if you call it a base or what, but they're doing all these different researches, and I guess they had drilled down to they found like a freshwater lake like under the ice. So there's some shit down there. There's got to be. I don't know. If all that ice is to melt, though, then I don't think the island we're on right now ourselves would be here. I mean, all the water would go up.
There's another
the fuck?
documentary though with Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's sitting there like this big part of it. He's sitting there with Barack, or her last president, Obama. Like he's talking about climate change in the next 20 to 40 years, like a lot of the East Coast, West Coast, I mean,
That's why them people that got them beachfront.
It's going to be gone.
It's gonna be gone. You gotta
underwater.
you sell that. If I my view, I'd be
Not getting into politics or anything, but our president doesn't agree with that. But I'm saying a lot of people in the world do.
Yeah,
And-
and I think the world does go through changes. I mean, it always has. It's always
Exactly.
weird. The big thing actually is Yellowstone and the super volcano that if that did erupt would literally like
Would be fucked.
like the
In
entire
America,
U.S. and-
especially the way the jet stream
Canada.
works coming up to New England and Maine here, would be fucked.
Yeah, it'd be over. But then again, no one wants to talk about what's the Japanese power plant that got hit.
Fukushima.
Fukushima that's still leaking out like radioactive waste to this day. And now in California, I heard they've caught some pretty weird looking fish that seem to be mutated or something.
It's-
But that's all through the ocean.
It's weird that you mentioned that because I was literally just reading shit about Chernobyl this morning.
It was like
The
I
last
was last night.
the last person that died that was connected to Chernobyl just died in 2011. That's not that long ago. That meltdown happened in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought this in the movie, the first Godzilla movie they actually made in theatrical theaters. Just like, but this is actually true story. The Chernobyl earthworm, just the worm itself, has grown to like 40-60% larger than what it was before that event happened.
Oh, like, you're talking about regular earthworms because
Just
of the
regular-
radioactivity?
Yeah,
have
I'm not
gotten
talking about like
bigger?
a night crawler. I'm talking about earthworms turning into night crawlers. You know what I mean, just because of the radioactivity.
See that you don't want
I
to be
mean,
nowhere around
there's
there.
still
but
people surviving with radioactive cancer that were linked to Chernobyl. Children that were linked to Chernobyl that are still dying from that radioactive poisoning. So imagine, what the hell could really be in the ocean from the water that got contaminated.
Well, you
and-
saw that kid that has that plan. He's a young kid too, and he has that plan to clean the trash out of the oceans. Have you seen any of these videos of these people swimming? And especially, there's a part in just where the currents are, where like you can basically walk in the ocean. It's just like I don't even know how many miles. If that's statistics we look up, but the garbage patch, and he's setting up these machines that will just take all the plastic bags. It's worse. Like when you watch this, you're blown away at like as far as you can see in every direction, and all the way up is just trash.
Oh, the
In
garbage
middle-
island.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's floating
you
in the
can
middle.
literally walk on that.
That's and it's where
As
all
a
the
person-
isn't
as a
it
human
kind of
being,
it's
you
by
can walk
Europe,
on that.
and it's like
There's one
it's
that's
like
they said there's a couple in the Atlantic that aren't as big, but the big one is the Pacific.
either way, our oceans are full of plastic and trash.
Between Asia and California, the big one is in the Pacific. From what I've researched and seen anyway, you can I've seen videos where people are actually walking on this like just pile up of just human with trash and waste.
I don't know if you've seen the recent articles about going along with plastic and how its impact on our oceans, but the plastic drinking straws. There are recent articles within the last week or two showing how these the impact of just drinking straws alone is having a massive impact, and so now there are major sports teams, and I'm gonna have to look up which one it was, but
Right.
there's a major professional sports team that's already banned plastic drinking straws from their stadium.
Did you hear that the beads in the shower, if you had certain stuff with them little beads in it that like to wash your face or certain shampoos,
That's what
those
I
started
use.
gelling up and getting clogged in.
Those beads.
And actually straws in our
Clear
sink,
soap.
because Gab always uses straws, is what have clogged our pipes 4 or 5 times. The guy comes here and pulls out a bunch of straws, and I don't know, that's how it happens. But yeah, it makes sense, man. That plastic doesn't go anywhere. Even in the it's gonna it doesn't go anywhere. It's there. It's not like you threw a dead chicken in there. That's what we gone.
Just see some of the dumps and stuff. Just one in Maine just recently, they're shutting it, or they just lost 15 employees because of new technology being able to even take over that employee's role. And I just watched it on the news. Channel 5 the other night.
There's you go to McDonald's now. They got a thing. You just
Piles.
walk up and you do your order. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you walk up. So that kind of cuts.
Just like going out of Walmart,
what
you
I'm
mean
saying,
scanning
man,
your
that
own
AI.
stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And bring your own bag type of thing.
It was the Chicago White Sox Major League Baseball team that banned the first team to ditch single-use plastic straws. So there will not be any plastic straws available to be used in that sports team's venue.
Don't bring them. They search 'em
More
for
of
'em.
that stuff's to come, I'm sure. Though, as it is, we just went. My daughter and I just went to Disney last May, and Animal Kingdom. There's not even. There's no straws there.
I was there last
Um,
Well,
if-
I wasn't there, but
If there are any straws, they're paper straws, so that nothing can get in the animal enclosures. There's like zero chance of anything that's non-biodegradable getting into the animal enclosures.
Because
in
an
Disney.
animal's gonna eat
SeaWorld
that
does
plastic
the same thing. Even though SeaWorld is there's a
Yeah,
Well,
what, that
speculation,
what is
but,
it, Blackfin or something like that, or some? What was that documentary that exposed them that like pretty much ruined them?
there was a lot. There was more than this one documentary. I mean, there's like
It was
there's
bad,
actual
though.
like movies about it. Like especially you go on Netflix, you'll find at least 3. I mean, it's just like how like Shamu, like
Is it Blackfish?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blackfish. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's one.
dude,
of them.
that's one of the one. And dude, but those animals, like as smart as we know they are now, you know what I mean. As
They
much
can
as they
live the-
communicate, like they can't live like that.
They
dude.
can live
gotta,
60, 70 years in the wild, but only 15 to 18 in captivity.
Well, dude, they're literally swimming across the world though. And you know what I mean?
Exactly, they're
Like-
migrating, and I mean these ones.
I got
are
a fish
taken
that's
from
getting
their
too big, and I
family.
feel bad. I already gotta like think about new tanks. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like that. What's that one where they go into the factory farming and you're like seeing they have like the undercover cameras and shit, and like it's bad, man. You don't want like.
I don't dive into
I
that stuff.
all I know I read about. I won't even watch them because I don't want to see.
Alright, I
I don't want to
should
see
dive into
chickens
that
getting kicked in the head and like I don't know. It's messed up.
Well, speaking of that, actually, there was one, I think it was, went on to Netflix within the last 6 months, but it was this, they showcased this guy who was a chicken farmer, and he had this massive facility with something like 12,000
I saw
chickens, and then competing farmer
Cut
went
the
in
wires and shit.
and he messed with the wiring, and so it cranked the heat and it closed down the fans that were providing ventilation.
It was
and
actually really sad.
Within a weekend, all of them were dead. So the owner.
These are
literally
chickens
walked
we
in.
eat, like
Right.
chicken nuggets. Like I don't eat fast food, but chicken nuggets. Like this is, like I mean, like you said, I mean thousands of chickens dead, and it wasn't just one place. It was 7 different places. I can't remember which state
Right.
it was, but it was the guy.
That's crazy.
This like it was a competitive farmer, or it was just some asshole. One or the other. I can't remember what came out of it because it didn't say it in that documentary,
Right.
but. That was intense. I mean, watching
Like
that.
Kevin Randall?
And there's chickens. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Oh, Randy Couture,
Yeah, I think they're putting him in the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
Randy Couture,
Yeah.
or Kevin Randleman.
Randy Couture.
Randy Couture is in the Hall of Fame. Right?
Well, then I don't know why they're
Randy
showing all
has to be
kinds
in
of
the Hall
videos.
of Fame.
Yeah, I was gonna say. He's,
Oh, I thought they kicked him out during that garbage.
Oh, because
that happened.
him and Dana had that thing. But
Because he
he's
signed
still-
with Bellator.
He's
or
but
whatever.
he's a Hall of Famer, like hands down.
Watching the fights. There's fights on.
Yeah, we do got some
I
fights.
think we
on.
said it earlier that there's some fights on. We're just watching the fights. So.
Keeping it going. It is so what we were talking about earlier with the Conor McGregor thing about did you see Rogan's comment about he doesn't think he was drinking whatever, he thinks that might have been Conor was doing some booger sugar, if you know what I'm talking about.
And yeah, they updated that. He's now got like 11 counts of misdemeanor felony criminal charges, and
Does he really?
Like and he's getting sued by
Did you
somebody
see that
else
video?
individually. And,
Of him attacking the
I
bus
saw
that
the
Khabib
video
was
of
in.
the event.
It was TMZ. It was whatever.
yeah, he's got like 2 different assault charges and like 11 different other minor charges.
Remember when I said
combined.
for you to look up that video? It's on. They did actually. I don't know if it was Netflix original
No.
or they bought it.
No, me
Netflix
and
bought it.
Gab watched it together.
And I mean, say that's
really good.
That's a totally different lifestyle of Conor. Like that's his. Like it doesn't.
Dude, after the
From
Floyd
what-
Mayweather fight, he was 28 or 29 with paid $100 million whatever dollars plus. You know what I mean? So he might have been just out partying.
Going from nothing to something is basically like the aim of that video.
Yeah.
But I mean
But
that documentary.
I want to see him and Khabib in Russia. So let's hope that happens. That's what I was thinking.
So, we were talking about Bigfoot earlier. There was this Las Vegas police officer who quit his job to study Bigfoot. And he went to every different national park in America and investigated deaths that were, because they report the deaths, but there's not much beyond.
There's a book on those.
There's not much beyond like 18-year-old this day, this location.
National parks, if you look at the amount of missing people,
That's actually he filed this
It's called
report
Missing
called the
9/11.
Missing
Yes.
411.
Oh, 411. Okay.
Missing 411 report. And basically what it is there's 411 cases between every national park, including our own, because Acadia is a national park, where the deaths were extremely similar in the circumstances where these people were found miles away from where they were lost. Like, there was a report of a 3-year-old girl
From their campsite, right?
who was found 13 miles away from where
There's no
she
way
was.
a 3-year-old.
Basically, she had to have gone up a mountain, down a mountain, halfway up another mountain. And these reports are, I mean, these bodies are found not slaughtered, but beaten. I mean, clubbed to death, basically. I mean, pounded, you
Think
know?
of, you know what I mean? Like, this
And,
thing
and they're found, I mean, almost ripped out of their clothes. Like, something picked them up and
Grabbed
just
them,
grabbed
something
them.
That's
And,
some weird
and,
shit, man.
and so the report was led to initially believe that it was like a Bigfoot or a primate native to North America. And then you had these other people that were saying that these were alien abductions. That could be the only thing that would explain why these clothes were found, you know, dropped in a pile and the body was just plucked from them.
Yeah.
And then they were found, it's because when they landed, this ship or whatever didn't know where to drop them, so just dropped them somewhere nearby.
That reminds. Have you seen that security cam footage of a guy? He's like walking out towards the gate, and like, dude, it's messed up. This light hits him, and he like disappears. And then in a few minutes, he starts crawling back and puking all over the ground. And like it was on a few different shows on TV. They tried to call it fake, try to dissect it, but there's 4 different. I think it's in the top left when you watch a video. And you can see him, you know, he's like walking out and then just flash a light and he's gone. And he's gone for,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
showed
sure
me
how,
this.
yeah, this is
Yes.
a couple years ago.
I'm trying to think about
Dude,
it.
it's messed up. And then you a little, like, I don't know how long later, you see him crawling back and he starts throwing up on the ground. And I guess the guy quit, according to the story, quit the next day, and that was it. He's like, whatever, I don't know what happened to him, but it was something, and
No in-depth investigation or anything like that.
no, I'm not. You would have to look that up. I'd have to find the video there, but
I'll try and see if I can find
dude,
it.
it was weird. It's guy. It was on like CCTV or like security camera. There's a guy. He comes back and he pukes after, and that's what you'll be able to see. And they had it on a couple different shows that break down those videos to find the fake, and that was one of the ones where they couldn't find anything. But they were like, we don't know. So, that's a weird one. And it was just the way it was set up. It was just weird. Like,
More than
like
weird.
Yeah.
There's links to everything that we've talked about tonight on the in this episode. I mean, just look some of this stuff up. It's interesting crap.
It is. It's good to watch.
It'll get you thinking. If you don't already think that there's life beyond what we have right here.
Well, I don't know if you could look at how many new exoplanets or planets we didn't know were there that are
Every week we find between 1 and 5.
so
at
more
this
planet
date now.
Yeah, so I mean it's
These aren't planets that are habitable for human beings, but
some of them are. They say some of them in the Goldilocks zone that are
exactly that Goldilocks zone between like a big Jupiter and like a hot Mercury. You know what I mean? Like in that little before the astral belt. You know what I mean? Close enough from the sun.
Yeah.
Goldilocks.
Speaking of planets, I'm going back to something from episode 1. Flat Earthers.
And
Look at
Eddie
the
Bravo, I love you.
Look at the goddamn picture of the solar system. Every other fucking planet is round. So is ours.
Yeah,
Just look at.
you ain't bringing up Mars. You ain't bringing up
Look.
Mars.
They don't give you flat globes in school. The globes are a sphere. They're round.
Dude, that's
not flat.
That's because we were programmed since we were kids to believe this agenda.
I'm gonna punch this guy.
I'm just giving you their point of
Him
view.
and Nick Cage.
Fuck you, Nick Cage. I fucking hate you, you
Nicolas
bastard.
Cage.
You've made one good movie in your
Lords of
career, and it
War.
was
I
like
agree
that.
with Ben.
it was Con Air,
That's a good movie too.
Yes.
and that
Con
wasn't
Air.
even your fault that it was good. You were just a byproduct of it being good.
Exactly.
You son of a bitch.
Do you know
2
what-
National Treasures movies that made no sense. You
Whoa,
fuck.
whoa, whoa. Don't forget Ghost Rider.
Okay,
The worst superhero movie ever made. We'll talk about that next week. Next week's episode, we're going to be talking about Marvel. We're going to be talking about movies. We'll fucking talk about you, Nick Cage. You son of a bitch. You be here next week because I got your number, you fucking jerk.
Do you know that about the
story.
Superman movie? This can go on next week too, but just real quick though. In 1997 or 6, they were gonna do the new Superman movie, like Superman not Return, Superman.
You
or
can't. He's still
What-
paralyzed.
Superman comes back
Could you
1,000
imagine
times.
Nicolas Cage being a being Superman. I'm just saying, just think
They
of his
put him.
face.
They put him in a fucking.
And-
they made a skeleton be him, and it still sucked.
You could see him in the suit and everything in the documentary.
You have to use his face.
Or the page I watched and everything, and he just he's like Superman's like weird uncle or something. Like he's just like
I think
He's
the
like
only-
medium man.
I think the only person I hate more in the world than Nick Cage is Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray. Fuck you, you son of a bitch. You're the most useless
Explain.
Okay, so not only is Sugar Ray terrible,
Scooby Doo
not only is Sugar Ray absolutely terrible
monster.
in every way possible, but this son of a bitch was on one of those Don't Forget the Lyrics shows or Singing Bee shows, whatever the fuck it's called, and the $100,000 question. I'm flipping through the channels, right, and I'm like, oh, some singing show. Maybe this asshole will do a good job on the final question. It was a fucking Sugar Ray song. Fuck you, bro. You piece of shit. You're a lame-ass bastard, and I'll punch you in the face. You were here for that, like, I Love the 90s concert last year. My best friend made sure I didn't go to Bangor because he knows I would have got arrested for punching you in the face, you asshole.
He would have tied
They
you
did
up
that
like
this
a
year
knot.
too, though. This the other day, didn't just do a 90s
Yeah, but that was
thing?
Ja Rule and Ashante. I ain't fucking with Ja Rule.
No,
That guy's probably smoked a lot of crack.
Well, Ja Rule, he was kind of he was a little poser too. I'm just gonna say Ja Rule, and like
I just mean a guy that talk like this. Probably smokes a lot of crack.
Yeah, there's something. It's he's doing
or
something.
what'd you call it earlier? Like nose unicorn or something.
Nose unicorn. No, what did you say that was? Booger sugar?
Oh yeah,
Booger sugar.
he's
Booger
on that booger sugar.
Nose.
I'm putting up a picture of a unicorn.
We're finding a nose unicorn. Okay, so now we got posters. We got Ryan, posters white, and we got Josh, nose unicorn McNerney.
I think that's fitting.
Here are the nicknames. I don't have one yet,
Not
but
yet.
Wait till next week.
Tech Guy seems to think that he's gonna give me Nick Cage as a nickname.
But that would be.
That's not a thing that's gonna happen, or else it won't be 207 talk anymore. It'll just be 07 talk because this 2 will be gone.
Hey, but we're gonna put another O in front of that. This will be 007 talk, and we're gonna be getting into some real deep shit then. Talking about fucking jets.
Secret agent stuff, posters.
Secret agent.
He'll just come out of the wall and. Just
You know how
be
much
posters.
pressure this is? Hey, lady, you know how much pressure that is when this is in your bedroom? You gotta live. You know, you got all these dudes staring at you. When, you know.
They're looking you in the
Cool
eyes
shit.
while you finish,
Hey,
dude.
You know what I mean?
We got
And-
Rhonda there somewhere.
She's a man too. It don't matter.
It's alright.
She's a man too. I mean,
Hey, now Rhonda is gorgeous.
she's a gorgeous man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got one hell of a
Yeah.
chin on her. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
I don't have that.
That'd be
If
a
you did
weird
that, tip
night.
your head back.
That would be a weird night. Could you imagine? Can you imagine
Night.
sex with Ronda Rousey? She's probably got a bigger dick than you do.
Exactly. And you can't leave. I mean, what are you gonna leave? Like, you know, you're gonna get thrown
I
on
feel
your
like
head.
she'd put you in a submission and just wouldn't let you stop.
she would.
I
She
feel
would.
like I
She
would
would
let her.
fuck you. You wouldn't fuck her. She would
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Like that episode of Futurama. Those girls that want to make snoo snoo or whatever. We're gonna post a picture of one of them snoo snoo girls and Ronda Rousey, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. You did it last time with the Habib and the Abraham Lincoln. You're gonna do it again with Ronda and a snoo snoo girl. Ronda wants snoo snoo.
Consider it done.
I mean, ask Travis Brown about snoo snoo. Ronda's
but-
fucking him lately.
I don't know that's why I said she picked a 6 foot tall UFC heavyweight to date, because I'm sure the other guy, she just like throws him into bed and like.
Did you guys ever
I
see
don't know,
it
ask Dana
in the
White.
Entourage movie?
Is that a true story though? Did Danny get some of that?
Hold that thought. We'll continue. I don't.
You guys ever seen the show Entourage? And it's got
that guy with that really fucked up name. That's all I know.
exactly, and that's why I can't think of it right now.
Adrian
but-
something.
Yeah, and he's the first time I saw him, it was drive me crazy with.
With Melissa Joan Hart,
yeah.
dude. Fucking Melissa Joan Hart. I went to that movie. I'll tell you who I went to that movie with. You'll be like, what the fuck did you
And
go
then
to a movie with
he's
that
in
girl
a
for?
Britney Spears music video with her too.
I can only imagine. I want to.
Isn't it the
Drive me
same
crazy.
one? Isn't it the same one?
Drive
Drive
me
me crazy. Adrian, you're French. How do you say that?
Well, in French it'd be Grenier, but it's Grenier, I'm sure.
You fucking Canadian
Grenier.
Mountie. You goddamn.
Grenier.
Dapper
I was
Grenier.
watching another popular comedian, Theo Vaughn, talking about Canada, And he was like, I didn't even know Canada was a real place when I was growing up. I was like, I thought that's just where the U.S. sent to practice safety. He's like, because Canada's so safe. So he's like, I thought whenever we had a new helmet to test out, send it to Canada. You got a new boat, Canada will figure it out. And you send it up there. He's like, I didn't know it was a real place. I was like 23. Is that weird? I was like, yeah, that's a little weird.
Well, I mean,
he's like, I just thought we tested all our safety there because they're so safe.
Dude, people forget that Maine even exists. They're like, oh, that's not Canada.
No,
My friend from Syria thought the same thing, that Canada and the U.S. were just North America, USA, like North America. And
we are.
But this is before the whole. This is actually the beginning
love Canada.
when Syria
I've really been
started
there a
doing its
couple
whole.
So we were talking about Entourage, and now we're not. So go ahead with your Entourage thing.
Okay, where was I starting though?
I mean, I'm
Well,
sorry.
Rosie.
Oh yes, no. She hooks up with. The main character's best friend is his entourage, his best friend in the movie, and she's like, it's
Does
just
she hook up with Turtle?
Turtle. Yes, it's Turtle. And he's the smallest kind of one out of all of them, and he's just like kind of laid back. You know what I mean? Like, and she's just.
Like I said, dude.
Even if you
Rhonda
haven't
wants
seen this show, you gotta watch that movie. Just like I didn't even watch all the shows, I just watched the movie, and I was just laughing my ass off.
It's a good
They
movie.
have a lot of like, there's a lot of like famous people like, they're coming in and out of it, especially like Ronda Rousey. She's probably the number one in that movie. But
yeah.
So we're getting towards the end of our episode here.
So once again, any suggestions, any
Questions, comments,
questions,
concerns.
feedback.
comments?
definitely some feedback.
You
Let
guys
us
got
know.
a beef with me for having a beef with Nick Cage? Let's go rounds.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
We will.
Yeah.
Like our video.
Subscribe to our page, video. We got Instagram, Snapchat.
So maybe someday.
Speaking
he'll
of
follow
Instagram,
you.
follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. Look for us
Sign
next
up,
episode.
thumbs up.
Movies,
Nerds the word.
lots of other
Instagram.
stuff. Unicorn nose, posters.
Post it.
We'll figure it out. Ted's Turtle Wax. We'll see you next time on 207
207
Talk.
Talk out.